Then I will tell you a story, a true story. This is not a joke. It is a real story that happened. I have a retired associate. His name is Kim Sanang-ho. Now, when he was a young man living in the Chungcheong area, his wife passed away. It was a great tragedy. And so, with a heavy heart, he buried his wife. According to our Korean custom, after 50 days, he went to visit the tomb with his children. You must understand, in Korea, we have high tombs, mounds of earth, not flat tombs, like in some place. There had been heavy rains recently. When they arrived, they saw that the rain had caused the earth to shift and the new tomb had cracked open. All the children began clawing at the broken earth, and they were crying out, "Daddy, Daddy, Mama is breathing. We see her breathing. Quickly, quickly, open the tomb." But he, in his grief and reason, said to them, "No, my children, it has rained very hard. This is a new tomb. The earth is still settling, so it may have cracked. It is the shadows and the earth. Mama is not alive." But the children would not be consoled. They were all crying terribly. So to calm them, he took the children back home and gave them some money to go out to the market to buy cookies. He sat down alone in his house. He was utterly devastated. His heart was broken into pieces. He was crying, and to seek comfort, he opened his Bible and began to read. Suddenly, he felt a presence behind him. He felt as if someone had taken a massive gray sword and thrust it straight through his heart. The pain was immense. He fell to the ground. He had suffered a massive heart attack and he died. I was in my office when the news came. In those days, we did not have a fax or internet. A telegram arrived. It read, "Kim Sanang-ho died. Please organize a funeral party to bury him." A doctor had already been there and issued a death certificate. The cause was a massive heart attack. By the time the telegram reached me, he had already been dead for 3 days. So I personally organized the funeral committee. I appointed the men, gave them the funds, and sent them to his village to wash the body and bury him. When they arrived, his body was there. They began the preparation. In Korea, up until that time, we did not have embalming. So they washed him and clothed him in clean funeral garments. Just before they were to place him into the casket, as is our custom, they began to sing a final hymn. Suddenly, Kim Sanang-ho sat up. He rose up from where he lay. All the ministers, they were so terrified. They ran out of the house. They were completely frightened. And there he was, sitting up by his own casket, waving his hand at them, beckoning them to come back inside. But each man was saying to the other, "You go first." "No, you go first." They were so scared. They thought they were seeing a ghost, a specter. They finally made a scramble back inside and they touched him. He was warm. He was alive. He was truly alive. Then he became very angry. He said, "I'm not a dead person. Why are you trying to bury me? What is this? You are kidding me." And they said, "But you are really dead. A doctor issued a death certificate. You died from a massive heart attack." Then, because I am his boss, he told me this story in very great detail. To others, he would not tell such detail, but he told me. He said that when he felt the big sword thrust through his heart, he fell. And as he was falling down, his eyes were open. And he saw 3 stars falling from the sky. He was watching these stars. And as the stars came near, he saw they were not stars at all. They were 3 magnificent angels. The angels came to him and said, "Let us go home." And each angel took him by his side, and 1 angel led the way. And as they were leaving, he looked back and he saw his own body, Kim Sanang-ho, lying there on the floor. He said, "Hey, Mr. Angel, look at that. I am there. What is that?" And the angel said to him, "That is your husk. You have been living inside that husk for a long time, but now you are out of it. Forget about that husk. Let's go." He said they traveled from his home toward the North Pole. He explained that there is the earth, and then from the North Pole, there is a superhighway that leads straight toward the heaven. The angels took him there, and this highway was moving like lightning itself. Countless people were riding upon this escalator, all going to heaven. And as he was going, he saw many stars, big stars. He asked one angel, "This is quite a distance. How long does it take? Does it take one day to get from earth to heaven?" Finally, they arrived in a vast universe. It was so bright, so glorious, so unspeakably beautiful. And then he came to the heavenly city itself, the New Jerusalem. The great gate was open, and Jesus himself was standing there. A host of angels and the spirits of the righteous were all there, welcoming him with the songs of Hallelujah. He walked inside, and he saw King David. He said, "Oh, Mr. David." And David came forward and shook his hand. Then he saw Stephen, the first martyr. He said to him, "Stephen, wait, weren't you in very great pain when they were stoning you?" And Stephen smiled and said, No, not at all. Jesus was standing there watching me. I was so full of joy that I did not feel any pain whatsoever. Then he saw a tremendous river, a mighty river, flowing from the throne of God. There were many trees on both sides of the river, heavy with the fruit. There were beautiful benches all along the banks. Angels and people were sitting there, reaching out, taking the fruit and eating it. And as they ate the fruit, it instantly turned into a beautiful fragrance that came out from the pores of their bodies. The air was full of this fragrance, and there was beautiful music everywhere. Then Jesus said to him, "Let us go and worship the Father." They came to a gigantic auditorium. He said it was endlessly big. Millions upon millions upon millions of people and angels were there worshiping God. They were like waves of the sea, bowing down, worshiping. The music and the peace and the joy were tangible. They touched the heavenly realm. It was unspeakable. He joined them, he bowed down, and he was filled with rejoicing. And God was there. He was like a great mountainous light. He said he could not see a distinct image because God was this immense, overwhelming image of pure light. Then Jesus said, "You cannot stand here too long. You must go and see many other places." He said, "Well, my wife died 50 days ahead of me. May I please see her?" And Jesus said, "As a matter of fact, you are here because of the request of your wife." And so Jesus took him to a glorious mansion. The door was open, and his wife walked out. She was wearing beautiful clothes, and an angel was with her. He told me, "Pastor, she was so beautiful." And I have to admit, I laughed when he said this. You see, when I would go down to his church to hold meetings, in those days there were no hotels, so I would stay in his passageway. His wife would always bring me food. And I tell you the truth, she was a very ugly woman. Whenever I looked at her, I felt sorry for him. So I said, "Pastor Kim, you are really kidding me now." But he was serious. He said, "Pastor, no, it is true. She was like Jesus Christ. Her old image had completely disappeared. She was renewed, and she looked like Jesus. She was so beautiful and pretty." He said, when he reached out his hand to shake hers, she pulled back and said, "No, you still belong to the earth. You cannot shake hands with me. But then she said, I asked Jesus to bring you here temporarily because our children were so sorrowful. Jesus heard my prayer mercifully. When you go down to the earth, you must tell the children that their mother is more alive here than she was on the earth. Tell them their mother is very happy here. It is glorious. So when you go down, tell them. And also tell them that those boys are all going to become ministers. So tell them to be faithful to Jesus Christ, to preach the gospel so that they may come to heaven and we can all meet together again. And as they were talking, he noticed something. The back part of her skull was shining like a perfect diamond. And then he remembered, in the countryside, on a Sunday, they had skipped work in the rice paddy to adorn themselves and go to church. After the service, they were walking back home. His father, their father-in-law, was so angry at them for going to church that he took a large rock and threw it at them. That rock hit his wife on the back of the skull. Her skull was broken and she bled. He said that in heaven, that very spot where the wound had been was now shining like a brilliant diamond. He said, when you receive persecution for the Lord, all of those things are going to be paid off in glory. Then Jesus said, you cannot stand here too long. There is so much more for you to see. He said that as far as his eyes could see, there were mansions after mansions after mansions. He emphasized that they were real mansions. He said, it is not just a mansion like we say in the world. It was so fantastic, so glorious. He said, sir, I would like to see my own home. Jesus said, okay, you come with me. And Jesus escorted him. What he saw amazed him most of all. There was an old woman who used to come to his church. She was a nobody. She had nothing. But she was always cleaning the church, burning the oven for heat, doing all the dirty chores. No one ever paid any attention to her. But she had died. And when he saw her mansion, it was magnificent, more beautiful than any other. A little further on, there was an elder from his church. This man was very proud, a real swashbuckling type of guy, always drawing attention to himself. But his house was much, much smaller. Then they came to his own house. He looked and he saw that it had no roof. He felt like crying. He said, Jesus, my home has no roof. Why does it have no roof? And Jesus said to him, do not worry. Your good work is still costly. It is still coming up to heaven. Those good work are the materials we are using to complete your house. So you must go back down to the earth. You do the work for the Lord, and your good works will come up to us as building material. We will complete your roof. And when it is finished, we will call for you, and then you will come. Then suddenly, Jesus became urgent. He said, you must go back, and you must go quickly. Your friends are going to bury your body. If they do, you will have no place to return to. Jesus called the 3 angels. Hurry, take him down to the earth immediately. His friends are going to bury him. So they took him. They rushed him back to the gate. And as he was about to leave, someone was calling out behind him, hey, wait a minute, wait a minute. He turned to look, and it was the patriarch, Abraham. He said, Pastor, I always thought Abraham was a very old man, but he was not. He was very young as Jesus Christ himself. Abraham came to him and said, you are going back to the earth. Listen to me. You must tell the world, tell the people that Christ is coming back very soon. Much, much sooner than they think. Let them get ready. Tell them, because Christ is coming very soon. Then he went to the gate. The angels took him, and they got on the same incredible escalator from the northern part of the sky down to the North Pole. As he was approaching his home, He could see right through the roof of his house as if it were glass. And there he saw his own casket. His friends were gathered around, ready to put his body into the casket. And there was his own corpse lying there. He stood at the feet of his own body. The angel said to him, "Dive in." They gave him a push, and he dove into his body. And the moment he did, he came back to life. This is a true story. I am telling you because I have seen this with my own eyes. He worked as my associate in my church after this. He is still alive today, and he is working in prayer. If you ever come to South Korea, and if you would like to talk with him, I will let you meet him. And you know, this story tells us there is a heaven to gain and a hell to avoid. Jesus Christ finished death and hell. He has conquered them, and he brings the eternal kingdom of God to us.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this message uplifting, don't forget to like, share, and click that subscribe button so you won't miss future reflections.
God bless you, and see you next time.